G'day, welcome back to the All Thumbs Bum channel. Took the MX3 Unos 30X for a good 400 kilometre run the last couple of days down to Sydney and back, and unfortunately we've got some issues coming up with the tuning of the car, so we've got a high idle and a really high start, so we're going to take a look at that. But I did pick up something down there that's set to cure it. Okay, this is throttle coat. This will be familiar to the guys who've got Evo turbos and Skylines. Not so familiar with the Mazda stuff, but you can see that there was a coating on there. This is simply moly disulfide. You can buy spray cans of moly disulfide. It's a hard surface lubricant if you go to your engineering place. But I stopped in with Roger from RTI Imports, I think it is, and he's a bloody good bloke. If you need anything imported from Japan, he's your guy down in Sydney. Righto, this is the interior side of the throttle body on the Mazda KL V6. You can see here there's evidence of sealant being applied to the throttle body. Now, turning the throttle body up to the light and staring at the fucking sun, we can see we've got a bit of clearance on this left-hand side, which is the right-hand side because we're looking at the inside. Got a bit of daylight around there. So, I cleaned this throttle body and I've been chasing some idle issues, so now we're going to try and do the last of the idle issues. I looked at the end float on the shaft here and gave it a little bit of a tweak and slammed it closed and open a few times. And looking through, we've got, putting a bit of leverage on that, and holding it up to the light and looking through, we've sort of evened that gap up all around there. Before it was all on one side, and now it appears to be all around the throttle. Watching a bloke doing some tri-power setups with a similar product, not exactly the same product, but he was endeavouring to seal the supplementary throttle bodies. And this is what he did. So he painted with an artist brush, he painted the edge of the butterfly on both sides. The only other instructions I could find on this were in Japanese, and it's a Japanese product, so you know, that's to be expected, and it's not real well known outside of Japan. So that's why I thought I'd make this video. So ensuring that I've got a adequate coating on the butterfly. I've just got to turn this around so that I can see what I'm doing. So now take out the prop and we'll let that close against the surface, and then what we'll do is we'll open it. This is a lubricant, so you can see the witness lines around there. So now I'll brace it again, and I'll brace it again, and I'm going to paint those lines. So we've got a good contact patch underneath the butterfly. So I've got a reasonable coating around there. We will now coat around the inlet side of the butterfly just on the where the throttle body shaft is. And you have to excuse me because I'm thinking while I'm working here and I'm talking at the same time. So painting this around the inside of that shaft seal. It's where we had most of the light coming from when we looked at it before. We'll now go to the reverse side of the butterfly, and this is what I saw the guys in Japan doing. They were using a Q-tip to put a couple of coats around the inside. Of the throttle butterfly. Once again, putting a bit extra around where the shaft is. This is going off pretty good here. So I just put the second coat on. By holding it up to the light. Should be able to see there that we have no light visible around the throttle assembly. Okay, so that's the application of the Tomei throttle coat. We'll let that go off. Tomorrow I'll brace it open again and give it another 24 hours, and then the next day reinstall it back in the car and we'll see how it runs. Fingers crossed, we should see an improvement. If you need some throttle coat and you're in Australia, hit me up. You can have the rest of it for half price. Thanks, guys.
Much later.
Alright guys, we've let the throttle coat dry. We've got it all back in the car. Let's see what happens. Remember, this is a cold start. What I plan on doing now is letting it warm up, then I'm going to adjust the idle settings, but it's got to be at operating temperature, so we'll let it run for a while. See you in a minute. Well, settings are right in the ballpark, so idling about 500 RPM, 450 to 650 is where it should be. I'm happy with that. A little bit of clacking noise coming from the lifters. That's for the next job on the agenda. So hopefully we've got this sorted. Like I said before, these things have got to learn where they need to be, so don't keep adjusting everything. Get it set up, give it a run. I'll have another look at this idle setting in about a week's time, because I don't do a lot of Ks out here. So thanks for watching, and if you need some throttle coat,